Recently, we discussed some of the unanswered mysteries surrounding the Big Red Machine Kane. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the unanswered mysteries surrounding Kane's kayfabe half-brother, The Undertaker. And no, we're not talking about why a man would get his wife's name tattooed on his throat. We're talking about the various storylines that remain unanswered despite The Undertaker's 28-year run in the WWE. Number 1. What's in the urn? The WWF did a terrific job establishing that the urn was something more than just a prop for The Undertaker. Although the urn wasn't initially present for The Undertaker, it quickly became synonymous with his character. Paul Bearer would parade around the ring, holding the urn up as if it was some sort of unholy symbol. The WWF's announcers did a good job implying what the urn might be without giving fans any definite answers. This only added to The Undertaker's mystique, helping him become one of the WWF's most popular characters. Over time, fans saw a number of things inside the urn, leading to further speculation. When Hulk Hogan battled The Undertaker at Tuesday in Texas, he emptied the urn, with ashes flying onto the mat apron. In true Hulkster fashion, Hogan grabbed a handful of ashes and blinded The Undertaker, securing his win. When Yokozuna and his gang of heels kayfabe killed The Undertaker at 1994's Royal Rumble, a mysterious green smoke emptied out from inside. But this would not be the only time the urn gave off incredible special effects. At 2010's Hell in a Cell main event, Paul Bearer turned heel yet again on The Undertaker, this time blinding him with a mysterious light from the urn. Bearer then handed the urn to Kane and the Big Red Machine bludgeoned his half-brother, winning the match. Many are the urn's powers, but few are the answers behind them. Number 2. Why have there been different urns? Observant fans have noticed that The Undertaker has had several urns during his celebrated career. Writer Nick Graffis has even documented the various incarnations of the urn, beginning with the one introduced a short time after Paul Bearer's debut. As Graffis notes, the urn soon became known as the source of The Undertaker's powers. He had always been indestructible, but now he had a reason behind it. It was the urn. The urn also became known as the first source of weakness for The Undertaker, because in anyone else's hands but Paul Bearer, it would make The Undertaker freak out and lose focus. His first loss was suffered at the Tuesday in Texas pay-per-view in 1991 to Hulk Hogan, when Hulk dumped the contents of the urn out onto the ring, which debilitated The Undertaker. The urn would take a new form following The Undertaker's kayfabe demise at the 1994 Royal Rumble. There, Yokozuna took the urn's lid off, releasing a mysterious green smoke that seemed to take the life out of The Undertaker. However, when Taker returned, Paul Bearer was now carrying a larger urn. This urn was eventually stolen by the $1 Million Corporation and melted into a gold chain for DiBiase's wrestler Kama, best known as the Godfather. The urn has undergone several incarnations, but fans have never been told exactly why this happened, leaving fans to once again speculate on the answers behind many unanswered mysteries surrounding the Phenom. Number 3. Who burnt down his parents' home? One of the pivotal moments in the storyline past of The Undertaker and Kane involves the death of their parents. According to the storyline, their parents died in a house fire, a fire that left Kane hideously scarred, and The Undertaker believing Kane to be dead. Initially, the storyline was that The Undertaker's sociopathic half-brother Kane was the one who set the fire, but that changed when The Undertaker returned to the dark side. During that time, The Undertaker proclaimed that he had set the fire, allowing Kane to take the blame, as well as the lifelong scars he suffered in the inferno that took the lives of their parents. However, the Brothers of Destruction's culpability was muddied further when WWE announcers later implied it was Kane after all who set his parents' home ablaze. This plot hole remains unanswered, leaving fans to guess which brother sent their parents into a fiery end. Perhaps the answers went up in the same limousine explosion that seemingly killed Vince McMahon back in 2007. Number 4. Whatever happened to The Undertaker? Given his status as a wrestling zombie, few fans were surprised when The Undertaker returned from the dead following his storyline murder at the 90s. This storyline led to Paul Bearer accusing DiBiase of fooling the fans, with The Undertaker's manager promising to bring one true dead man back to the WWF. This culminated in the Battle of the Undertakers at 1994 SummerSlam, with the true Undertaker defeating The Underfaker, played by Brian Lee. The match was an utter disappointment, and the WWF dropped its plans for continuing the feud. However, the WWF never truly explained where The Undertaker came from or whatever happened to him. Like many a bad storyline, the WWF opted to pretend as if it never happened. Number 5. How did Paul Bearer return from the dead? 2004's Great American Bash saw The Undertaker take on the Paul Heyman-led Dudley Boys in a cement mixer match with the stipulation that Paul Bearer would be encased in cement if The Undertaker didn't lay down and count the lights. With The Undertaker's longtime manager's life on the line, the dead man overcame the 2-on-1 odds, defeating Bubba Ray and Devon and racing backstage to rescue Paul Bearer, or so it seemed. In one of the most bizarre turns, The Undertaker then flipped the switch, governing the cement, burying Paul Bearer alive. The tasteless angle was also senseless as Bearer returned in September 2010 during The Undertaker's latest feud with Kane. Although the WWE's website mentioned Bearer had sustained catastrophic injuries, no mention was made of this on television, leaving some fans in the dark as to the finish for one of wrestling's most bizarre angles. Number 6. What did 2/21/11 mean? After retiring Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26, Michaels' DX brother Triple H set his sights on the dead man, coming up short at WrestleMania 27, but managing to inflict so much damage that The Undertaker could not leave the ring under his own power. During the build-up to WrestleMania 27, mysterious videos appeared with the title 2/21/11. Fans wondered what this could mean, speculating it involved the return of The Undertaker, and others even predicting it would mark Sting's arrival in the WWE or something similarly big. In the end, The Undertaker returned and was ready to make an announcement when Triple H showed up, confronting him and cutting him off. The two men engaged in one of wrestling's most powerful stare-downs, setting the stage for their WrestleMania 28 Hell in a Cell match. What was The Undertaker's promo supposed to be? Well, fans never found out, adding this to the list of Undertaker's mysteries. Number 7. Why did the Nexus bury The Undertaker? As we've discussed in several videos, the Nexus was one of the WWE's hottest angles until John Cena cooled it off, reducing it to cannon fodder for him to get over. Early on, however, the Nexus seemed as if they might destroy the entire WWE. The Undertaker wasn't safe either, as the Nexus proved when they interfered in the Buried Alive match at 2010's Bragging Rights pay-per-view between The Undertaker and Kane, helping Kane bury The Undertaker. While Nexus leader Wade Barrett suggests there was a hidden motive for helping Kane, the fans never found out. In all fairness, the fans were likely more puzzled as to why the Nexus went from strong heels to the Spirit Squad 2.0. Number 8. Who were the Sisters of Darkness? There's no denying that The Undertaker has had some of the coolest entrances in WWE history, whether it's his WrestleMania spectaculars or his regular appearances on TV and at house shows. The Dead Man's Titantron videos have varied throughout the years, but one video has puzzled fans for years. This particular Undertaker video featured 3 young girls who became known as the Sisters of Darkness. Their appearance during Undertaker's entrance videos and other videos proclaiming The Undertaker's various returns led fans to wonder what link they might have with the Phenom. According to screenwriter Mike Landis, son of filmmaker John Landis, the sisters were part of a cult where The Undertaker sacrificed young girls. Take this with more than a grain of salt, because while Landis claims to have worked as a consultant for the WWE, there's next to nothing to back up his claim. Nevertheless, it's fun speculation on the nature of these 3 mysterious girls, who are reminiscent of the 3 sisters in Shakespeare's Macbeth, an apt comparison given the mystical nature of both trios. Number 9. What was The Undertaker's Phase 2 plan for the Big Show? 1999 was a busy time for the WWF, as its Attitude Era made it the undisputed king of wrestling, pummeling WCW in the ratings and seemingly incapable of doing anything wrong. The WWF ran a number of storylines during this time, but one many fans might not remember is the angle involving The Undertaker taking the Big Show under his wing, forming a dominant tag team that threatened anyone in their path. According to the storyline, the Big Show had become The Undertaker's disciple of the dark arts, with Taker promising to take the Big Show to Phase 2 should he pass his initiation rites. Those fascinated by the story never got a payoff, as The Undertaker took an extended stay away from the WWF, and when he returned, he was now the American Badass, a character devoid of The Undertaker's mystical mumbo-jumbo. While rumour has it that the Big Show's Phase 2 would have featured a mystical spin on his character, this is yet another example of the many unanswered and unexplained storylines featuring the Phenom. And number 10. Did The Undertaker try to abandon his dark ways? The Undertaker's evolution from wrestling's Dark Lord into a rough and tumble biker nicknamed the American Badass seemed like a good way to keep his character fresh. One aspect of his transformation that often goes unnoticed was The Undertaker's interview before his Buried Alive match against Mr. McMahon at 2003 Survivor Series. In an interview, the WWE probably thinks the fans forgot, The Undertaker explained that he had been distancing himself from the darkness of his past. Of course, as you likely remember, he returned in his original Deadman persona the next year at Wrestlemania, seeking revenge on Kane for helping Mr. McMahon secure a win at the Survivor Series. While no explanation was given for Taker's change from his biker persona back to his original gimmick, there's talk the WWE was going to explore The Undertaker's battle with his dual personas in order to explain his transformation. That never happened, and fans formed their own answers, while others were just happy to see the original Undertaker back in action. Well guys, there you have it, the many unexplained mysteries of The Undertaker. Are there any others that left you puzzled? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.